Most of us have heard the term HSA or health savings account thrown around, though very few people actually use it correctly. And it's important because if utilized the right way, the HSA is one of the best kept secrets when it comes to retirement benefits and retirement planning, and really is a key component to helping you achieve work optionality sooner. And so here's what's important to know about the HSA. The HSA has what's called a triple tax advantage. So money that you contribute to your HSA health savings account goes in pre-tax. In addition, the money invested in the HSA also grows tax-free. And then as long as used for eligible medical expenses, when it's taken out, it's tax-free as well. Hence the triple tax advantage. As you can see in this illustration I'm going to show, it makes a big difference when comparing the HSA to a traditional brokerage or taxable investment account. And so as demonstrated, if you started with $10,000 and you had that in earnings, when you have $10,000 of earnings in a traditional brokerage or taxable account, after income taxes coming out, that may be chopped down to $7,000 right off the bat. You could then invest that $7,000, but again, in a taxable account, once you use the growth and take the funds out, you pay another level of capital gains tax on it. And so at the end of the day, 10,000 of earnings invested in a taxable account, even after strong growth for 10 years, may really only be more like $15,000 of actual dollars you can use. The HSA account, on the other hand, the health savings account, you get that triple tax-free advantage. So the $10,000 of earnings is actually $10,000 you could invest in the HSA account. From there, the money grows tax-free. And then again, if used for eligible medical expenses, all the gains are real dollars as well and tax-free growth. And so that $10,000, when you take out all the tax component at the end of 10 years in this example, it's more like $25,000, $26,000. And that's net of tax amount that you can use. So when comparing the HSA after the investment growth to a traditional brokerage account, you have 63% more dollars for the same initial contribution that is actually available for use as part of your nest egg. So a really massive difference. Commonly, we get the question, are we being handcuffed by only being able to use it for medical expenses? And the answer is you will absolutely use it. As we know, medical expenses are a big part of our financial picture and not something that looks like it'll be going down anytime soon. And while you have a limit for medical expenses only, qualified medical expense, there's a wide range that you could use the HSA for, whether it's prescription eyeglasses, health expense deductibles on your insurance, kids' braces. There's a wide use case, so you will absolutely use your health savings account. Also, a nice fact about the health savings account is it's yours. So even when your employer contributes to the health savings account, that money is vested immediately. And therefore, the money you contribute plus your employer contributions, you can take with you if you separate from your employer, want to use the funds. And so FSA account, flexible savings account, that is different. That money is not vested right away. If you separate from your employer, you can't take it with you. There's limitations on rolling it. The HSA is your account as soon as that money's deposited in there. And so even though the contribution limits are lower than a traditional 401k, as I'll show you in a minute here, it packs a big punch. So the HSA is a really terrific tool to be using. And so we kind of went over the merits of the HSA and how the tax advantage works in your favor. And circling up, this is why you should care. Fidelity recently did a study that estimated that after the age of 65, retired couples will have $300,000 of out-of-pocket medical expenses during their lifetime. A massive number. In addition to that, there's a lot of health expense risks. We've seen massive inflation in health expenses over the recent years. And on top of that, there's a continual growing need for long-term care expense, skilled nursing, assisted living in the later stages of life. So wherever you can begin to earmark funds in a tax-effective way makes a big, big difference when it comes to your retirement savings and overall financial health. Now, a good way to look at the difference between the HSA and how to best utilize it is looking at a case study. And so I'll show you a visual here that demonstrates a use case of the HSA that shows how potent and powerful it is. Okay, so in this example, let's say you start contributing your HSA account starting this year. You have a family plan, and so you max out the family HSA contribution of $8,300 for 2024. So starting, I guess, the first of next year. And let's just say for the next 10 years, every year you contribute the family maximum to the HSA. Remember that maximum is limited to what the employer puts in as well. So it's a total of your contributions plus your employer contributions. And so to get the results that I'm showing, you don't even necessarily need to be contributing $8,300 yourself out of pocket, because that includes what your employer is pitching in as well. So in this example, you contribute the maximum family amount to your HSA for the next 10 years. As you can see, that amount, $8,300 in 2024, and we have that going up for inflation each year, as they typically see an inflation adjustment. At the end of year 10, you've garnered a total of $154,000 in the account using a 9% annual growth rate for illustrative purposes. Even better, let's just say at the end of year 10, you stop contributing, but you keep the money invested and growing in your HSA account for another 5 years. At the end of that 5th year, so now we're at year 15, those annual 10 years of contributions have now ballooned to $237,000 in your HSA account. Tax-free, so that's real dollars, right? That's after-tax dollars available for medical expenses. And so if you're at the beginning of this experiment, if you're age 50, you contribute to age 60, you keep it accruing another 5 years to age 65, that is a massive nest egg to add earmarked for your medical expenses, which lines up pretty well right when you're starting to pay Medicare premiums at age 65, which you could use your HSA for as well. And so again, on total contributions that come out to about $95,000, in this example, we're talking $237,000 of net of tax growth. And again, that $95,000, that's not all out of pocket for you either, because that includes what your employer has been chipping in. And so in that prior example, where if a typical couple at age 65 has $300,000 in medical expenses, this is a great way to earmark funds over time and establish that bucket to be covering those types of expenses later in life in a really methodical, tax-advantaged way. So I've really hammered home the benefits of the HSA account and why you should use it and what that looks like. And so here's how to implement and what you should do. So aside from the free employer match that you get on your 401k, this is arguably the best retirement tool at your disposal from that level. And we still have time to contribute to your 2023 HSA account. Again, this is December of 2023, so we got a little bit of time to still get those in there. And also, it's a great time to review your 2024 HSA contributions as well. And so, as demonstrated here on this chart that I'm showing you, these are the contribution limits between what you and your employer total can put in for each given year. So in 2023, if you're on an individual health insurance plan, a total of $3,850 can be contributed to your HSA account. This goes up to $4,150 in 2024. If you're on a family plan, meaning spouse or dependents are also on your health insurance plan, the 2023 limit is $7,750. And that goes up to $8,300 in 2024. To top it off, if you're age 55, you could put another $1,000 in. So remember, it's different than the 401k where the catch-up's at age 50. For the HSA, it's age 55 where you could do that extra contribution. Now, you need to be eligible to contribute to an HSA account, which means you have to be in a high deductible health plan. And so if you're not in the high deductible health plan for your employer, you are not eligible to contribute. And in that case, you likely need to wait till the next open enrollment period to switch to the high deductible health plan to be able to flip on contributions to your HSA. Remember, while the HSA is a great tool, health insurance is a critical component of your family's well-being. And so the primary driver should be to be in the right health insurance plan for you. And if that happens to be in the high deductible plan, then the HSA is a great option there. Also, if you are not in the HSA eligible plan, or even if your spouse has an FSA account that's set up in a way that does not make you eligible, there's a lot of different considerations you're going to be thinking about to make sure you are eligible to avoid excise taxes and the need to, reverse your contributions. And so a couple of different things to think about. Now, there's more than just contributing. It's what to do with the contributions. And so first and foremost, the best way to utilize your HSA account is think of it in a growth format. As we went over, all the growth in the HSA is tax-free if used for eligible expenses. And therefore, similar to a Roth account, we want to be pedal to the metal generally in letting this thing grow. And so rather than using your HSA for ongoing expenses, our recommendation is generally to let it accrue. Cover your medical expenses out of your other cash flow and let the HSA grow for its most biggest effect to be used in future years. Furthermore, that money in there, don't just have sitting in cash. You have an investment lineup of options, and to get that growth, we got to invest it in a growth format. And so it's important to review how your HSA balance is being invested. And commonly, we'll see folks with HSA balances sitting in cash or cash-like instruments, which again is not utilizing it to its full potential. Even if you're only starting with $10,000 or $20,000 in your HSA account, don't be discouraged. As we showed in that case study, that's a great starting point. And over a short number of years, you could gain a lot of traction in your HSA account. And so to sum it all up, this is why you're best off using the HSA. It means less taxes and more of your earnings into your own retirement picture, into your own pocket. And by building a nest egg to cover some of these major future healthcare expenses, it will absolutely help solidify your financial picture and could absolutely provide you a path to retire earlier as well. And so the HSA is a core tool towards your retirement success. And if used the right way, can go a long ways towards retiring earlier. And keep in mind, you don't have to go it alone. Feel free to message me or visit our website at www.stablerwealthmanagement.com. And we're here to help you with your FSA or other financial planning decisions as well. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you found this video helpful.